You swore you would never do it again. You recognized the pattern last time, the emotional unavailability, the hot and cold cycles, the feelings of chasing someone who's always one step out of reach. You told yourself never again. And then you did it again. Different name, different face, same wound. And you are sitting here right now wondering what is wrong with you. Nothing is wrong with you. Something is wrong with your selector. And your selector was installed before you were old enough to know it existed. And here is what makes this the most frustrating pattern in all relationship psychology. You are not stupid, you are not blind. You can identify an avoidant partner in someone else's relationship in like 30 seconds. You give your friends perfect advice. He is emotionally unavailable, you have to leave. You see the red flags in other people's stories with clarity, but in your own, blindness. Total selective, devastating blindness. The same flags that scream danger in someone else's relationship whisper comfort in yours. And that word, comfort, is the key to entire pattern. Because the avoidant partner doesn't feel dangerous to you, they feel familiar. And familiar to your nervous system feels like home. Even when home was the place that taught you to love and absence were the same thing. So today I'm going to dismantle this pattern at the root. What's actually driving your selection? Why your nervous system is drawn to the one person guaranteed to repeat your deepest wound. And 5 signs that your picker isn't broken. It's calibrated to a frequency that was set in childhood. And until you recalibrate it, you will keep choosing the same person every single time. So here's the mechanism in its cleanest form. Your attachment system, the part of your brain responsible for bonding, was calibrated in the first few years of your life by whatever your primary caregivers modeled as love. If love came with consistent presence, warmth, reliability, your system calibrated to seek those qualities in a partner. You are drawn to available people. They feel right. But if love came with inconsistency, a parent who was warm one day and cold the next, present one moment and absent the next, loving but unpredictable, your system calibrated to that frequency instead. And now as an adult, your brain doesn't scan for available partners. It scans for the specific emotional frequency it was trained on. Intermittent availability. Hot and cold. Present and absent. Close then distant. The frequency doesn't feel like a red flag. It feels like attraction. It feels like chemistry. It feels like this person is different. They are not different. They are the same. They are the same frequency you have been tuned to since you were 3 years old. You just keep meeting it in new bodies. So let me give you a case study. A woman, 34, 3 consecutive relationships with emotionally unavailable men. 3. Each one of them she described as different from the others. The first was cold and intellectual, the second was warm but evasive, the third was passionate but disappeared for days without explanation. On the surface, 3 completely different men. Underneath, identical emotional architecture. Available enough to activate her attachment system, unavailable enough to keep it in permanent overdrive. So when I asked about her childhood, the connection was immediate. Her father was loving, genuinely loving, but emotionally inconsistent. Some nights he would sit with her for hours, fully present. Other nights he would come home and be unreachable, physically there, emotionally sealed off. She never knew which version she was getting, and her entire childhood was spent developing one skill above all others: reading micro signals to predict when love would be available and when it would be withdrawn. She said, I thought I was attracted to confident men. I was attracted to unpredictable ones. Because unpredictability and unpredictable is the one only frequency my system recognizes as love. That sentence is the entire pattern in one line. She wasn't choosing badly, she was choosing precisely with the calibration system that was set to a frequency she didn't program and couldn't see. So, what's happening neurologically when you are drawn to the avoidant partner? Attachment theory. It was developed by John Bowlby and expanded by Mary Ainsworth. Identifies three primary attachment styles formed in the childhood: secure, anxious, and avoidant. The critical finding for this pattern is what happens when an anxiously attached adult enters the dating market. Their system is calibrated to seek intermittent reinforcement, the push and pull, hot and cold dynamic that mirrors their childhood experience of love. So, when an anxiously attached person meets a securely attached partner, someone who is consistently available, reliably warm, and emotionally predictable, something counterintuitive happens. They feel bored, not intellectually bored, neurologically bored. The secure partner doesn't activate their attachment system because the system is tuned to respond to uncertainty. Certainty feels flat. Safety feels unexciting. Availability feels something like must be something wrong with this person because the system was trained to believe that love requires pursuit, anxiety, and the constant management of someone else's emotional distance. When that same anxiously attached person meets an avoidant partner, someone who gives intermittent warmth, creates uncertainty, and maintains emotional distance, the attachment system lights up. Dopamine floods the brain, the seeking circuit activates. The person doesn't just feel attraction, they feel alive. This is it, this is chemistry. This is different. It's not different, it's recognition. The nervous system has identified the familiar frequency and it's responding the way it was trained to respond, with obsession, with hypervigilance, with the absolute certainty that this person, this emotionally unavailable, inconsistent present person, is the one. Psychologist Amir Levine, in his research on attachment in adult relationships, puts it directly: anxious individuals are not attracted to avoidant partners despite the pain. They are attracted because of the activation. The pain and the attraction are neurologically fused. They are not separate experiences. They are the same experience interpreted by a system that was taught in the childhood that love and anxiety are inseparable. So there are 5 signs. Your selector is calibrated to choose avoidant partners and you don't even know it. Sign number 1. You mistake anxiety for chemistry. The butterflies you feel around someone new, the racing heart, the obsessive thinking, the inability to stop checking your phone, you call that chemistry. It's not, it's activation. Your attachment system has identified a similar, or I would say familiar, threat reward pattern and has gone into overdrive. Genuine chemistry feels warm and steady. Attachment activation feels electric and unstable. If your strongest connections have always been with people who made you feel slightly off balance, your system isn't responding to compatibility, it's responding to its own wound. Sign number 2. Available partners bore you. Someone texts you back constantly, immediately. You lose interest. Someone is transparently interested, you feel nothing. Someone shows up reliably, communicates clearly, and offers emotional stability, and you think there is no spark. That no spark response is the most dangerous sentence in your dating vocabulary. Because the spark you're looking for isn't attraction, it's recognition, it's your nervous system scanning for the frequency it knows: intermittent availability. And failing to find it, the available partner doesn't activate your system. Not because they are wrong for you, because your system is calibrated to the wrong frequency. Sign number 3, you become the best version of yourself during the chase. When they pull away, you become more attentive, more attractive, more articulate, more alive. The withdrawal activates something in you that nothing else does. A focused, driven, almost like superhuman version of yourself that exists solely to close the gap between you and the retreating partner. And when you close it, When they come back, the aliveness fades because it was never about them. It was about the pursuit. And your system is addicted to the pursuit because pursuit was the only way love was accessed in your childhood. Sign number 4, you rationalize their unavailability as depth. He's just guarded because he's been hurt. She needs time because she doesn't trust easily. They are not avoidant, they are complex. Every time their emotional unavailability shows itself, you construct a narrative that transforms it from a red flag into a mystery to be solved. You are not seeing them clearly. You are seeing them through the lens of your attachment system, which needs the unavailability to continue in order to keep the pursuit alive. The narrative you build around their distance isn't insight, it's infrastructure. It's the story your system requires to justify staying attached to someone who will never fully arrive. Sign number 5, you feel most in love when you are most anxious. The peak of your feeling isn't during connection, it's during the gap, the unanswered text, the cancelled plan, the night they seemed distant, the gap that is agonizing, heart squeezing space between wanting and having is where your deepest feelings live. And you have been calling those feelings love. They are not. They are hyperactivation. They are your attachment system in threat mode, flooding your brain with obsessive focus on the person who might leave. Real love doesn't peak during anxiety. It deepens during safety. If your strongest feelings have always lived in the gap, your system has fused love with fear. And until that fusion is broken, every person you choose will be someone who creates the gap your system needs to feel alive. So here's the truth that sits underneath every failed relationship you have ever had with an unavailable person. You didn't choose them because you have bad taste. You chose them because your nervous system recognized them. The way you recognize a song you haven't heard in 20 years, instantly, involuntarily, with your whole body. That recognition isn't wisdom, it's conditioning. And conditioning that was installed in your childhood will override every rational decision you make in adulthood until you see it for what it is. You are not attracted to avoidant people because they are fascinating. You are attracted to them because they recreate the exact emotional climate you grew up in. And your brain, in its misguided attempt to heal the original wound, keeps placing you back inside it, not to punish you, to master it. To finally get the love from someone who mirrors the parent who couldn't give it. But you can't heal a wound by reopening it with a different knife. Every avoidant partner you choose is a different knife creating the same cut. So if you have recognized this pattern, the repair starts with the hardest recalibration of your life. You have to learn to tolerate safety, not seek it, tolerate it. Because right now, your system reads safety as boredom, availability as weakness, consistency as the absence of passion. And those readings are wrong. They are not assessments of the other person. They are artifacts of your calibration. So start by noticing when you feel bored by someone available. And instead of walking away, stay. Not forever, just long enough to ask yourself, am I bored because this person lacks something? Or am I bored because my system doesn't know what to do with someone who isn't making me chase? The question asked honestly is the beginning of recalibration. The answer won't feel good at first. Safety feels foreign when your system was built on uncertainty. But foreign doesn't mean wrong, it means new. And new is the only direction that leads somewhere you haven't already been. The second step, name the pattern to yourself explicitly. Tell yourself that I am drawn to unavailable people because my attachment system was calibrated by an inconsistently available caregiver. The attraction I feel is recognition, not compatibility. And recognition of a wound is not the same as finding a match. Say that to yourself before every new relationship. Write it down. Tape it to your mirror. Because your system will try to override it every time, and the only defense against an unconscious pattern is a conscious one. You were never broken. Your selector was just calibrated to a frequency that was set before you could speak. A frequency that told you love sounds like uncertainty, that connection feels anxiety, that the person worth waiting is always the one who is half turned towards the door. That frequency served you once. It helped you survive a childhood where love was unpredictable. But you're not a child anymore. And the survival strategy that protected you at 5 is the same strategy that's destroying your relationship at 35. You don't need to find the right person. You need to recalibrate the system that keeps selecting the wrong one. And the moment you do, the moment you learn to sit inside safety without running from it, you won't just find a different partner. You will become a different person choosing them. One whose love isn't driven by fear, but by something fear could never produce. Subscribe to the channel for more such videos, and I'll see you in the next one.